Hi there, my name is Matti Sulanto and this is your lucky day because I'm gonna be sharing my 5 great tips on street photography.
And I'm Robin Wong and I have 5 more tips on street photography for you too.
So it's gonna be 5 and 5, 10 great tips all together.
Let's get right into this.
But before we go any further, please consider subscribing to my channel and tap the bell over there so you'll get notified whenever I post a new video.
And also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well.
Yeah, do that. Is it okay, Robin, if I start?
Sure, of course.
Okay, my first tip is to use simple gear. The more time you spend with your gear or in your camera bag, the more shots you are likely to lose. Simple gear helps you concentrate more on the subject and getting great shots.
Oh, but Matti, I thought you said real photographers don't need a mirror. That should be your tip number 1, right? I think we can agree with that. Well, on a more serious note, I seriously agree with Matti on having a simple gear. So my tip number 2 now, as we move along, is use 1 camera and 1 lens. Just staying with 1 lens, you can have less distractions and you're more focused on getting the right shots at one particular session. So keeping simplicity in mind, that will help you improve your photography.
Alright, we are here standing on the street somewhere in Kuala Lumpur. What's your favorite setup for street photography?
Currently, my setup is very simple, 1 camera and 1 lens. And what is important is that I'm currently using a 50mm equivalent lens. This is the Olympus 25 f1.2. It is not too wide, it is not too tight, it's just nice. It gives a very natural perspective. For street portraits, which I do a lot, where I go very close up to my subjects, that's when I use the Olympus 45 f1.8 or f1.2, and that will give you a much tighter perspective where there's less background to deal with. But generally, I think there's no right and wrong preferences of lenses. You choose the lens that works for you. But for me, currently, my favorite is the 25 f1.2.
Okay, that's also a good choice. Mine is 15mm, but I can accept yours too. My tip number 2 is learn and know your camera. The more time you spend wondering about your camera and thinking about how to make certain settings happen, the more pictures you are going to lose. You have to know your camera so that you don't have to really think about it or think about how to operate it.
I think I got my sequence wrong because just now I said it was my tip number 2. So you're doing tip number 2, so now it's my tip number 2.
Yeah, yours.
Okay, so
yeah.
Tip number 2 for now. In extension to Matti's tip on knowing and learning your camera better, and talk about shutter speed. So my tip number 2 is to slow down your shutter speed to get creative results. By slowing down your shutter speed, going to shutter priority, lower down the numbers, you can capture motion blur, and that motion blur will make your photograph look very interesting.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
So, Robin, I'm curious how you choose the locations you use or where you shoot. Because I've been out with you many times, and it seems to me that you choose the locations based on the breakfast.
Of course, for us Malaysians, we eat 5 meals per day, so food is an important part of everything that we do. We eat first and then we do whatever we want to do. On a more serious note, I choose my locations for street photography based on whether there are many tourists in the location or not. Places like Bukit Bintang or Petaling Street are more commercialized. There are many tourists roaming there. Not that it's bad for street photography, it's just that most of the time I prefer to work with locations that have less tourists. These locations that I really like are Pudu and Chow Kit.
My tip number 3 is be alert and observe your surroundings. Put away your smartphone, stop chatting with your friends, and stop browsing your favorite camera stores' special offers. When you're when you're out on the street, you have to observe your surroundings and concentrate on getting the good shots instead of doing anything else.
My tip number 3, in continuation from Mattis' tip, is it is okay if you miss some shots. We cannot shoot everything, and when we try our best, there are some shots that we just couldn't get, and that is fine. The important thing is to stay positive and keep an eye out for more opportunities. There will definitely be more shots waiting for you around the corner. Just go and grab that shot.
That's so true, because with street photography you don't know what's going to happen.
And sometimes it's luck that gets the shot.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes one day goes and you don't get anything, and then the next day, within 5 minutes, you get like 3 great shots.
The important thing is for you to go out as much as you can and be ready, like what Matti said, when the shot happens.
Yes. My tip number 4 is shoot first, think later. Whenever you see something you think might make a nice picture, take it. You can always, when you check it out on your big computer screen, then you can finally decide if it was worth it or not. But you can never come back and retake it, probably, if it's street photography. So every time you need something you think it's is worth taking, take it.
My tip number 4 is don't obsess on technical perfection. Sometimes it is not how you shoot that truly matters, but for street photography, it is what you shoot. Your subject content really matters. It is your subject, it is your idea, it is your message, the emotion that you're trying to express, and ultimately the story that you're telling through your photographs that will make or break the shot. So don't just obsess about, oh, what's the setting that I'm using to take the shot all the time, but also remember to pay attention to what you are actually shooting.
Yeah, that's so true. Nobody gives a damn if it's a really sharp corner-to-corner shot if there's nothing interesting in it.
That's right.
About your shutter therapy, I know it's all about fun, but is there something more to it? Something more maybe serious or something?
Shutter therapy, the concept that I coined and the concept that I came up with many years ago, it is basically having fun, yes, going out, have fun with photography, but as we go deeper and deeper into the photography journey itself, photography is also about self-discovery. So the therapy part is not just purely enjoying photography, but it's also getting better, knowing yourself and how you put your identity into your photographs.
Man, that sounds really philosophical.
I hope it's not too complicated.
No, I think it's just about right.
Okay.
And my tip number 5 is street photography is not only taking pictures of people. Street photography can be an interesting composition of colors, light and shadow. And I think it's important you find the comfortable or suitable subgenre of street photography for you. And do not copy others, try to find something that you really like.
And my tip number 5 is to remember to have fun when you're out shooting on the streets. Don't stress over anything when you are out there shooting. Street photography is supposed to be enjoyable. And I want you to bring your camera out and remember to have a great time taking photographs on the street. Let's try.
Okay, what about you guys? Do you have any secret tips for street photography? If you have, please let me know of them in the comments down below.
Oh Matti, I just remember I have one more tip to share. End your street photography session with an overpriced cup of coffee. How about that?
That sounds good. Can I buy you one right now?
Perfect, that sounds amazing.
Thanks guys so much for watching. We're gonna have now some overpriced coffee. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye. All right.
That is good.
It is.
And overpriced.